This conversation is about Anthony Richardson because he's the most popular person in Indianapolis right now. You could argue that that's, for not good reasons because his play hasn't been great, but I just there's been a lot of questions about his development and whether or not he can improve. I am in the firm boat of he can improve because when I was in college, I played baseball with guys who came in incredibly raw, really ugly swings, and they improved to a point where they could play baseball successfully at a Division II level. Okay. Players get better. It happens all the time. And the questions about Anthony Richardson's accuracy, sure, is he inaccurate right now? Yes, but there are a lot of quarterbacks who come into the NFL and are inaccurate. And I'm a believer because I've seen guys progress and get better in the accuracy department that Anthony Richardson can become more accurate. Okay, like Josh Allen comes in his rookie year, appears in 12 games, started 11 of them. That season, he threw for just over 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He only completed 52% of his passes. That's not very good. That's worse than where Anthony Richardson's at right now through 9 games. He's completed 54% of his passes. Josh Allen's second year started all 16 games, threw for just over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He completed 59% of his passes. I would say that he got better. I would say that he got more accurate. From that year on, year 3 and forward, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's completed no less than 63% of his passes, thrown for no less than 4,000 yards, and he's thrown at least 29 touchdowns. I think it's safe to say Josh Allen got better. I think it's safe to say that Josh Allen became more accurate with more reps that he got. And I can hear some of you. Jonathan. That's just one example. Is there anyone else? Yes, there's plenty of guys. Do you remember when Lamar Jackson came out of college and he refused to run the 40-yard dash because some people thought he should play wide receiver? Pretty similar to crazy people out here in Indianapolis saying that Anthony Richardson should play tight end. Okay, the first season, the people who thought Lamar Jackson should play wide receiver had a point. Lamar Jackson only completed 58% of his passes. He appeared in all 16 games. He only started 7 of those. He only threw 3 touchdowns. He barely threw for 1,000 yards in about 150 attempts. He relied on his legs more than his arm his rookie year. Even his second year in the NFL, he did the exact same thing. And the people who said that he should play receiver instead of quarterback appeared to be correct. Then his second year, even though he relied on his legs a lot, he was still absolutely electric. He threw for over 3,000 yards. He threw 36 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. From that point forward, everyone who said that he should be a wide receiver stopped talking, and they never brought it up again because they realized how dumb they sounded. And they accepted that Lamar Jackson improved as a passer. Look at him now. He's, arguably the second best quarterback in the NFL. I would take Josh Allen before him, but the point still remains. He improved as a passer. It's amazing. It's almost like players get better the more reps that they have. It just took Lamar Jackson some time to figure things out. He needed live game reps to figure out how to read a defense and to know where to go with the ball, right? And when things break down and go crazy, he's highly athletic and he's able to go make plays with his legs. We're in this, not fun phase of Anthony Richardson where he's still figuring things out, and we see him rely on his legs from time to time when things go haywire. We saw it a lot on Sunday. Okay? Like that is the phase of Anthony Richardson that we're in right now. And that's not a bad thing because the Colts are 4-3 and they're 5-4 in the games that Anthony Richardson has started. Here's another example for you of a player who's gotten better throughout his time in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, his rookie year, he only completed 52% of his passes. His second year, he completed 61%. From year 3 on, he's been at 65% or better. Look at that. He got more accurate. His completion percentage went up. He improved over the course of his career. Jalen Hurts just needed the reps for it to happen, just like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen needed the reps so they could get better. Peyton Manning checks this box as well. He comes in his rookie year. He not only leads the league and holds the all-time record for interceptions thrown in a season, but he only completed 58% of his passes. That's not very good. Years 2 through 4, he only completed 62% of his passes. And then year 5 and on, he goes to a different level, sits around 65 or 66%. Okay. Peyton Manning became more accurate and completed more passes the more reps that he got. He improved over the course of time that he was in the NFL. John Elway, one of the best quarterback prospects ever at the time when he came out, into the NFL draft. John Elway, rookie year, only completed 48% of his passes. That's worse than where Anthony Richardson's at right now. Year 2, John Elway jumped to 56%, which is pretty good at that time. He got more accurate. This is a normal occurrence in the NFL. Steve McNair, his first year as a starter, he completed only 52% of his passes. The next year, his completion percentage jumped to 58%. He got more accurate. This is a pattern. This is a very common thing for most quarterbacks that come into the NFL. The more reps they get, the more accurate they become. Okay. Anthony Richardson needs to be given time. Okay. There is no way around it. Okay. Thanksgiving is like a month away, which is kind of absurd. Okay. This year's just flying by. I like pie. Pie is one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving. But here's the truth of the matter about pie. If you take the best ingredients in the world and you put them in the pie, and like, I gotta be honest, I don't know how to make a pie. I just know how to eat them. Like, and you put the ingredients together and they're the best, and then you put it in the oven. It doesn't matter if you don't let it finish baking. Doesn't matter how good the ingredients are if you don't let the pie finish baking. Anthony Richardson, it's the exact same thing. I get it. Through the first 9 games of his career, he hasn't been very good. He's gotten hurt. The fact that he slid on Sunday was really nice. It seems like he's learning. That's a positive sign. Okay, he needs to be given time to finish baking. Because if you pull a pie out of the oven too early, it doesn't matter what the ingredients are. It's not going to taste good. Now, there's a chance that the ingredients that you put in the pie are terrible and you let it cook and it's awful when you eat it. That is a possibility, and that is what could happen with Anthony Richardson. But we're never going to know if the ingredients are any good and if the pie's any good if we don't give it time to bake. Anthony Richardson needs time. He's going to get better. It's going to happen, okay, because it's rare for players not to improve with reps. I played college baseball. Every player that showed up and stuck around for more than a year got better. You know why? Because they played a lot. Right? Between practice and games, dudes got better. And that's just how it works. The more you do anything, the better you're going to get at it. Okay, for me, like I've got a great boss who has helped me a lot improve, in the world of radio. But guess what? Even if my boss was terrible and he was just like, Jonathan, you're on the air, go figure it out. Even without proper guidance, I would have gotten better at radio just because I was doing it a lot. People get better through repetition. Anthony Richardson, same thing. He needs time. As of right now, we're 9 games into the Anthony Richardson experiment. He's completing 54% of his passes. That's not good. Okay, like I'm not going to sit here and be like Anthony Richardson's been great because he hasn't. Is Joe Flacco better right now? Probably. Okay, Anthony Richardson has not been good. But in the early parts of the careers of all the quarterbacks that I just listed, none of them were good at this point. None of them were good 9 games into their career. Okay, the issue is we saw Mahomes show up, sit out for a year, and then immediately look like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Guess what? That isn't normal. That's why he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like he could retire right now, and there's no doubt in anyone's mind that Patrick Mahomes would go into the Hall of Fame. Okay? And here's the other thing. All the quarterbacks that I mentioned, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Peyton Manning, John Elway, Steve McNair, Jalen Hurts, none of them got better by sitting down on the bench and watching a 39-year-old journeyman quarterback play. They all got better by playing in the game. Anthony Richardson is the exact same way. He's got to play. And it's like, look, I'm with you guys. It's not fun watching him sail a ball out of bounds when it's 3rd and 4 and a guy's wide open. It's not fun. It's frustrating. Okay, incredibly frustrating. And if Anthony Richardson continues to look like this in 10 to 15 games, I promise you, I will shut up. I will listen to the criticism. You can criticize me. You can call me dumb. That's fine. I'll be criticizing Anthony Richardson and the Colts as well if he looks like this in 10 to 15 games. But as of right now, we're 9 games in. He needs reps. Everyone knows it. And he's not going to get them by watching Joe Flacco. There's only so much you can learn in practice. At some point, you have to go out and do the thing. So the people out there who think that Joe Flacco should play at all on Sunday against the Texans, you are wrong. And quit suggesting it. If the Colts play Joe Flacco instead of Anthony Richardson on Sunday, do their chances of beating the Texans go up? Probably, but not by that much. They don't get that much better. All that playing Joe Flacco does on Sunday, all that it does is delay the inevitable. Because at some point, they got to play Richardson to figure out whether or not he can do this. Okay, to figure out whether or not he's going to progress to a point where he can be the Colts franchise quarterback. We are 27 games away from Anthony Richardson being eligible for an extension. So the Colts have 27 games to figure out whether or not Anthony Richardson is their guy going forward. He needs to take every single snap, every single one of them. Whether that means the Colts make the playoffs, whether it means that they miss the playoffs. Either way, it doesn't matter because the last thing that the Colts want to do is take the pie out of the oven before it's done baking, be like, oh, this isn't very good. Give it to someone else who goes home, puts it in their own oven, and then shortly after has an amazing pie. You know how frustrating that would be if the Colts gave up on Anthony Richardson too early and then we looked up and the Titans were like, hey, we'll take him. And then 2 years from now, Anthony Richardson's like one of the 6 best quarterbacks in the NFL. You know how upsetting, how upset we would all be, even the ones who keep calling Anthony Richardson a tight end? Everybody would be pissed. Everybody would be upset. Okay, the Colts have got to play Anthony Richardson to figure out whether or not he's the guy, to figure out whether or not he's going to progress to a point where he can be a franchise quarterback. They have to do it, even though it's not fun watching him only complete 54% of his passes right now. It's the reality. Every team in the NFL, 90% of the teams in the NFL that draft a young quarterback have to deal with the ups and downs of a young guy playing. It's just the reality of it. It takes some guys longer than others to figure it out. When they drafted Anthony Richardson, we all should have known that it was going to take him a little bit longer than Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels to get it figured out because he hasn't played that much. That's the reality that we're in, and the only way to get out of it is to continue to play Anthony Richardson to figure out if he's the guy or not.